All right, this is Intro to Computers. This is Tuesday. We're in, that's supposed to be week 3. I'm not going to write that up there. So it's week 3, day 1. This is September 11th, okay? 11 years after 9/11. So anyway, we reviewed. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. We reviewed hardware, software, and people. Then we reviewed 2 different types of software, system and applications, and system can be split up into the operating system and utilities. Utilities work through the operating system and the hardware. And remember, system software primarily works with the hardware. The application works through the system software or the operating system. People work through the application. Now, if you're a user, that's probably what you do. Primarily work with an application. If you become more of an expert, you probably are able to work not only with the application, but also with the operating system and some utilities. And we'll learn those as we go along in the course. So if we were to draw a picture of that, we have the hardware here. Operating system works with the hardware, the app works with the operating system, and the user works with the app, typically. Okay? 3 major things: hardware, software, people. And then how do we move that data around? We have networks. We have a local area network in the same basic geographical area, and then we have a wide area network which covers a broader area. And not always, but typically we have a service provider that allows us to create connections for a WAN. We can have a private WAN, like all the major companies like Walmart and IBM. You could just go down the list: Cisco, Boeing, the big car industries. They all have private networks that connect their plants and their facilities across the whole world. And then we have the biggest network, WAN, the internet, which we use to connect in other sites. And so we got talking about the internet a little bit. And then the internet, we use internet service providers so that we can connect in the internet. So when you say something, you got it off the internet, you really got it off some particular website connected into the internet. Okay? The internet is the backbone in which we move the stuff. It stands for Internet Work. It allows us to connect all these networks in the world together so they can all communicate. And the World Wide Web uses the internet. Email uses the internet. Like chat and that uses the internet. A lot of all those things just use the infrastructure. It's like the interstates. The interstates actually connect the cities. The cities aren't in the interstate. We connect them. Okay. How's the media? What do we send it across? We either send it through wire, copper wire. We send it wirelessly in the air. We talked a little bit about Wi-Fi. Or we can send it through fiber optics. The different types of media. The fiber is the fastest and most secured. Wireless, since it's in the air, is considered the least secure, even though it can be secured if managed correctly. Wired fits in between. It's typically faster than wireless, even though wireless has increased in speed a lot lately. But it's typically, as a whole, faster, more secure than wireless, but not as fast or secure as fiber optic. Why do we use networks? We share information. That's probably the most important thing. Now, I wrote share data, and data is processed into information. We can share devices like printers and hard drives, where we store stuff, like even in the cloud. We use a network to put our pictures or whatever, back up our computers on devices in other locations. And then we share software, and we talked about being careful about understanding licensing of software. One thing you can probably save cost if you have a large network here, like at the campus here, where we have maybe several hundred computers or maybe 500 computers. You can buy licensing maybe for 300 licenses, knowing there would never be more than 300 people using the software at any one time, rather than load the software up on every single computer and pay for that. Okay? So why we use networks. Then we reviewed the idea of what bits are, binary digits. That's usually to measure the amount of data we can transfer, bits per second. Then we said 8 bits gives us a byte, and byte is usually used to measure storage and memory, like a 32 gigabyte tablet. That means it has 32 gigabyte, in fact, that's storage and memory together, you know, iPad or a tablet of some sorts. Okay? Or your phone, you know, when you talk about the size of your phone. It's never exactly how those numbers come from. Like, why is it 32 instead of 30 or 20? Because everything is base 2. Like kilo. When we talk about a kilo, that is 2 to the 10th power, which is 1024. So it's about 1,000. Like a megabyte is about 1,000,000, and so forth. And we study those in Unit 2. And then what do we store? We store files. Files tend to be either applications, which are files that are executable. A good example, a student said, like PuTTY. You downloaded PuTTY. PuTTY is an executable file. It's a piece of software that actually executes. You can run it on a computer as long as you have the right one downloaded for your operating system. And then we have data files. Data files, applications can create data files, and data files can be manipulated by applications. And then we listed a whole bunch of them over here, like DOC, Microsoft Word, XLS, spreadsheet, GIF, image file, JPEG, an image file. We got MOV and AVI, those are both video. ODT, that's Open Office, that's a file from Open Office, just as an example. Okay, and we talked about those, and we reviewed the project, what we did in the project. We talked about the skills-based assessment, which is Thursday. We talked about that briefly and how it mimics the project. And so, Thursday we'll finish up Unit 1, get a brief start Unit 2, talk a little bit about word processing, and then take the skills-based assessment on the first project. And that's it.